Hey everybody, happy Friday, happy Friday. Hi Valerie, I see you just popped in. I'm glad you're here. I just got the notification that I'm live. Hey Petra, good to see you. I'm glad you came by. Gracie, yay, I haven't seen you for a while. I've been meaning to say thank you to you for watching the replays because I know you do and I know you watch. I'm so glad you're here. I think Joan was here. Did I see Joan? Yeah, there's Joan. There's Victoria and Dana. Who else is here? Rosie's here. Annie's here. Okay. Awesome. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Mary. Hey, Mary. Tina, how are you? Tammy, good to see you. Hey, there's Chels. Hi, honey. Lorna. You already got it? Oh, that got to you a lot faster than I thought it was. That's awesome. Hey, Sally. Well, hello, Sally. All right. How are you guys doing? Happy Friday, everybody. Hey, Colleen. So I do want to tell you guys, I went to the dentist yesterday and got these new teeth all cleaned. And I had to get some of that dang rinse for my mouth because, I have, periodontal disease. So that's going to be a part of my life. But that's okay. 2 weeks. I have to do 2 weeks of that again, but that's all right. And then maybe I won't have to do it again until the next cleaning. Then I went to the doctor yesterday here in town. Hi, Kat. Yay, good to see you. And got an adjustment, which helped a lot. And I got an allergy shot. And it's already starting to help. All of that congestion over into my sinus cavity that was making my cheek hurt right in here is all kind of, it's the swelling has gone down there already. So, and I've got that stuff starting to drain. So I'm really hoping that this shot's going to be the thing that gets me over it. Hey, Maureen, good to see you. Sharon's here. Yay. I'm going to be getting those squares out to you soon, Sharon. Everybody's coming in. Awesome. Karen's here. Hi, Karen. Are you guys ready to hear the rest of this horrible story of Chandler Halderson and what he did? I hope you have your drink and your project because this is going to be, well, let me just say, it's going to be a long one, y'all. It is going to be a long one. So we just did intro last time. Wait till y'all see my cup. Are you ready? Here we go. I brought the big cup out tonight. It's a big boy. How about that cup? We're not going to run out tonight. Sporting my J. I'm all set. It's half and half. It's half calf and vanilla creamer. And of course, in case I need to wet my whistle, I've got my cup with my, as y'all know, I'm always double fisting. That is soda water with orange flavoring. I know, right? It's a big one. It's so big and ugh. Well, sit back and relax, Sharon. Hopefully you can just like don't think about it. You're done. You're done. Oh, I can go a while, but we'll see how it goes. It's a serious crime. And in case y'all are wondering, I do have my knives on. Tonight. And then my necklace. Shad's not here to ask about my necklace, but this is one of the ones I got this at the craft fair, one of the craft fairs that I did, and it is a handmade the wire. This lady does all of the findings. She makes them herself with copper wire. It's beautiful, and it's got my teal stone in the middle. Let's see if I can get a little closer. Isn't it gorgeous? I know, like that right there, it kind of looks like a nest. But she does all of this stuff. I don't even know if I still have her information, but it was beautiful. And I had earrings too, but they're too heavy. And I got to wear my knives. I have to wear my knives. Oh, the iviness. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes they do. Sometimes they'll tear you up, won't they? You're done sis chatting? She's done sis chatting. Okay, I have 2 projects to work on tonight. I'm going to probably switch back and forth. I have my the bisexual cowl that I'm doing, and then I'm almost done with the hat. That's bright, isn't it? So there's those 2 projects. So are you guys ready? I may talk for quite a while tonight to get through some of this and then come back and talk to you guys. So just be prepared. And after I tell you the rest of the story, then I do have a couple of updates for you, one for Lori Vallow and one for Stephen Smith. So just a few little tidbits right at the end, okay? Okay, you guys, here we go. They both missed, one in each hand, and finally got it in your arm. Ugh. Oh, I hate that. Okay, let me bring in my hands. Share it, share it, share it. I share like Sharon. Okay, so what I'm going to do on this one, where is my, there we go. Wanted to get my cursor in the right place. Still working with this one. And this row is just knit. So I want to get this knit row on, and then I'm going to move to the hat. Hey, Sandy, come on in. So when we left off, I told you that they had arrested Chandler. And that was after they started to do some looking around out at the farm and stuff, and they started to realize that things were really starting to point towards Chandler. Okay? So we're gonna kind of go through what happened. Oh, my yarn's being, that's my printer. My printer decides that it has to make noise every now and then, and I don't know why. It's like it just has to chime in. Do 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 do. I don't know. I'll be over there knitting in my chair and stuff, and then it just starts doing stuff over here. I don't know. I don't know what it's doing. So let's go back just a little bit now, because investigators have started to suspect him. They had started to do searches of the house. They were searching the house. They were searching the farm. They were searching area ditches, culverts, landfills, ponds, bridges, and Chandler's phone. Now, there wasn't a whole lot going on Chandler's phone right away. On the actual weekend that things happen. I mean, there's stuff happens, but just kind of, you know, and he was out talking to the neighbors, of course, and he was giving interviews in front of the house. He was giving interviews to the news and this and that about how his parents are missing and they don't know where they are. Oh yeah, he gave news interviews, you guys. And the neighbors were kind of freaking out because Chandler's coming around and asking all these questions, and it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. And some of them record these conversations, but Chandler doesn't know they're recording them. But just in case, they record these conversations, just in case. But this is after he fills out the missing persons report, okay? Now, Chandler's Googling things on his phone, though. He's not doing a whole lot on his phone, but he is Googling some things on his phone. Now, this is brilliant because, if you're worried about somebody finding out things, these are the kind of things you want to Google, of course. Zerbs is snoring. So here's the searches. Woman's body found. Dismembered woman found. Dead body found, Milwaukee River. And he also starts calling the police. What's going on? There's more police in my neighborhood, and I don't know what's going on. By July 7th and 8th, the police are busy, and they're coordinating searches, and they're finding these body parts all over. And they're not telling Chandler what they're finding. They're not telling him any of this, okay? Chandler also Googles a court case. And this court case is about a man in Wisconsin who dismembers part of his family, and he gets off on a technicality. And this is the stuff that comes up on Chandler's phone. He is worried, and he's looking at all this stuff. I mean, this is really, how to dispose of one's parents. Yeah, that's it. Now, let's go back to that message from Krista. If you guys remember, I told you there was a message on Chandler's phone. He said that he had gotten a message from his mom, okay? Police start looking into this, and they say, now, we don't have a lot to go on, but we know that she messaged Chandler, right? Okay, so what is that all about? Well, they look up where would have been going. And they discovered that the parade that he talked about, and they see a flyer in town for it, in this town where they supposedly went. And on that flyer, it says that parade was supposed to be on July 3rd. Because July 4th was on a Sunday of 21. This is in 2021, and it was on a Sunday, which means that parade was supposed to be was going to be on July 3rd and not on a Sunday. And this becomes very important later, you guys, okay, in the timeline. But in the house, in the search of the house, in the garage, they find Krista's phone. Krista's phone is found in a shoe, wrapped in aluminum foil and stuck in the bottom of the shoe along with her driver's license. Now, he's wrapping it in aluminum foil, thinking that there's no way that they can, this is like what they call a Faraday cage, so that they can't be any, they can't ping the phone. Now later, when the police get those cell phone records, it shows that message, that one that was sent from Krista's phone to Chandler's phone, that message was sent from the house on July 4th. Now, you start asking yourself, why? Why would all of this happen? Police are asking why. They're finding this stuff, and now they know that Chandler's involved, but now they're trying to figure out, okay, now why is all this happening? Why would this young man who had supposedly all this great stuff going on, why in the world? Because for one thing, Chandler was not going to Madison College. He had gone for a little while, but he wasn't going anymore. He wasn't working at American Family Insurance. They never heard of him. There was no record of Chandler even ever applying for a job at SpaceX. He had never rented this apartment or bought this car like he had told Kat. See, that was something he told Kat, that he had rented an apartment, he'd bought a car, and all these things, right? Never happened. He was just stringing her along in his big web of lies. And I feel really bad for her. I really do. She fell for all of this stuff, hook, line, and sinker. And not only that, but the Madison Police Department does not have a scuba diving team. And the doctor who treated Chandler said that he had diagnosed him with a mild concussion. He had given him a neck brace to use just in case he needed it. And that was it. And he testified, you guys. That doctor testified to all of that. So now the police say, okay, let's look into these lies just a little bit farther. How was he able to keep all this up? Kat didn't know anything. Obviously, he had been getting away with this for a long time. How is that possible? So they start looking at email accounts. And in these email accounts that they found of Bart and Krista, there's emails with Chandler. For example, Chandler said he had been working at American Family Insurance, but he never had any money. Now, his explanation was he was on salary, okay, and that they accidentally paid him hourly. So they decided to hold that money until it was cleared up. And then he said, well, I gave them the wrong direct deposit information. So now they couldn't put that money in there. So that held it up even more. And then he said, well, they owe me so much money. If they deposit it, the bank is going to ask questions because that's too much money to come in all at once without, and so, yeah. And then there were emails that were backing all of this up. Fake emails, fake, made up email addresses, made up names, everything was fake. Made up excuses, explanations, elaborate works of fiction, all written by Chandler. And all of this stuff he was doing back and forth to himself. And then he would copy his dad. So his dad would see it. And his dad was working. His dad was an accountant. Okay. So he knows about money. He's like, okay, really? Because, yeah, he's sending these emails to himself. But his dad he knows money. He knows how business works. And this stuff does not, it doesn't sound right. And he starts to bug Chandler. And he says, okay, he said, because Chandler supposedly is, working from home, right? And he says, well, are you up? Are you ready for work? And Chandler's, yep, I'm up. And instead of working, Chandler's playing video games. So he's doing all this elaborate stuff with all these emails and all of this stuff. And in the meantime, he's not doing any work. He's just playing video games during the day. And these emails, he actually makes up names and forms a letter from this supposed official person at American Family Insurance, for instance. And then he sends it from some made-up email. He sends that to himself. And then he forwards that on to his dad. So in case you guys are wondering what I meant when I said all these fake emails. And he does this over and over and over again. He's doing it from the school. He's doing it from American Insurance. He's got all these excuses and things, and he's making it all up, every bit of it. He spends more time doing that, and he could have a job. He could just have a job with all the time he's spending on doing all this stuff. Yes, he made up everything, including the school attendance. He made up the stuff about his fall and all of that just to get sympathy. He was sending those. Yep, I know. It's turning out so pretty, isn't it? Yeah, I feel really bad for her. I don't understand, I really don't know. I don't know why she didn't pick up on any of this, why she, of all people, why didn't his parents pick up on it? There were times that I'm looking at this, back on this case, and thinking, yeah, I would be going bullshit. I'd be calling bullshit on this kid. You're full of shit, and we need to know what's going on here because this isn't right. That's what I would be doing. Okay, so I don't get how he was able to go on a number of months. I mean, he hadn't actually worked in 2 years. So that tells you a little bit more about how long this thing was going on too. Well, I can think of worse things, Annie, to be in your shoes. Out here, we have to shake our shoes out because it might have a scorpion or a spider in it. I'd take that ice cream. Just saying. Wait, let me get my big cup. I almost have to use 2 hands. Okay. So he's playing video games. Now, because he's getting up at like 7:30 in the morning and stuff, to supposedly go to work and all that. So he's playing video games at a time when most people are working. Except people overseas. people overseas, it's nighttime for them. And video games have become more social than what they were before, in that now when you play video games, you virtually play with people from all over the world. So Chandler's playing with people from all over. And some of the people who are that he's able to talk to are people who speak English, and those are people who are in the military. So he's talking to and makes really, really good friends with this person called Andrew Smith. And Andrew Smith was stationed in Germany at the time. And he and Andrew got really close online, really like his best online friend, okay? And Andrew says that he knows that Chandler likes the SKS rifle. So when they were playing the games, they're doing the first person shooter stuff and all that. And the SKS is the one that Chandler really, really likes. Now, Andrew comes to visit Chandler. He comes back to the States and he comes to see Chandler. It's about a month before the murders. And Chandler's probably given him some line about how he can't drive and all that other stuff. So he comes to see him instead. And he brings his good buddy Chandler a gift, an SKS rifle. And there's a picture of them. There's a picture of Chandler and Andrew standing in front of the house. Now, just so you know, this rifle, this is the one that was found in the outbuilding at the farm, not far from where Bart was found. This is the rifle that was used to kill his parents. And in order to document, they didn't do paperwork or anything like that. So in order to document that he was passing the ownership of this gun over to Chandler, he takes a picture of the side of the gun with Chandler's driver's license next to it. Okay? And you can clearly see the serial number on that gun. And that serial number matches the serial number on the gun that they found in that garage, in that outbuilding. He also gives him about 400 rounds of ammunition. So now I don't see that happening. I do see friends giving each other rifles and all that kind of stuff. I do. It's a little odd, yes. But if this gun was legal, that the gun that he had was legal and all that, then, it's a legitimate thing. And he was checked out. This Andrew was not a suspect. He was actually in Texas when all of this stuff happened with the parents. So he was not a suspect at all. Okay, so now I'm going to have to do the next part of this lace section. And I cannot do that while I'm talking to you guys. But here is how it's looking. It's turning out so good. So pretty. This makes me really happy. It really does. Okay, I'm going to put that one away. Bring out my hat here. So, but now we're at this point, Chandler's dad is starting to ask questions, and Chandler decides, he's going to have a new job. So he has to get a new job because the fake job he's got is not working. So we have to get a new fake job because the other fake job's just not working out, right? So he comes up with this whole wonderful job thing at SpaceX in Florida. And this is about May or June. Now, he killed his parents July 1st. So about May or June, he comes up with this whole SpaceX thing. And he's pitching this story, he's pitched it to Kat, the apartment, the card, all the things, he's pitched this story to everybody, everything. This is all going really great. Well, in late June, Mitchell, his older brother, goes in the hospital. So now Mitchell is very, very sick. Okay. And hang on, I got to see. Am I knitting or am I decreasing? I am knitting. Good. We're knitting. Let's just knit. I'm on the decreases. I could do a few rows of this before I have to put it on the DPNs. Well, now everybody is doting on Mitchell. Mitchell's getting all this attention because he comes down with and is diagnosed with diabetes. And he did not know he had diabetes, so he got really, really sick. They put him in the hospital and start giving him medication, and he starts to get better very quickly, and he has no problems whatsoever anymore. Very healthy. But Chandler uses this as an excuse, and he says, well, he can't go to SpaceX because, he needs to wait because his brother, was sick and all this stuff has happened. And about a week later, after Mitchell was in the hospital, is when Chandler falls down the stairs. And this is what he says. He tells, and he's always telling different things to different people, but he says he's got a brain bleed. He has a hematoma. He has spinal damage, that he needed to have his head drilled open, that he often had the inability to use his legs. He couldn't drive. He had nerve damage. He needed to have a colonoscopy bag. He couldn't go to Florida because he couldn't fly. So now people are giving him lots of attention, right? He's wearing this neck brace all the time. Now he's getting attention. But if we flash forward to weeks later, when all this other stuff happens, he didn't have any problem carrying bags of ice, driving to go and get them, had to ice down his father's cut up body in his freezer. No neck brace. Matter of fact, after his parents go missing, he never wears that neck brace again. Ever. Now, Bart and Krista have started to become suspicious, okay? Bart was one of those people who was printing his emails, so he would get what he thought was important emails and he would just print them out. And so they found, when the investigators came in and looked around in the house, they found a whole bunch of these emails on Bart's desk, right there on Bart's desk. And one of those emails was between Bart and Krista, and they discussed a conversation that Bart had with Chandler's advisors. And Bart actually talked to a person. And this person he talked to's name was Daniel Spieth. And he told Krista, he said, it's really weird because this Daniel Spieth, he sounds a lot like Chaz on the phone. I don't understand. He sounds a lot like him. And the reason that he sounded like him was he was talking to Chaz, not talking to anybody else. Because Chandler, they call him Chaz, had a track phone, a burner phone. And the police found that burner phone in Chandler's desk drawer in his room. So not only do we have all these fake emails, we also have a burner phone. Okay. that he's supposedly talking back and forth with his dad on and pretending to be the advisors. I mean, there were dozens of emails with several fake people and accounts. But they all had this like Gmail address, not official school email address or official business addresses. They were Gmail accounts. Now, I do not want to say anything horrible about these victims, but I really wish they had picked up on that. I really do. And I think his dad was starting to put it all together, obviously. So, you know, the police found a note on one of these emails that was on the desk where he had printed it out, and there was a name written in the corner of this email, and that name was Omar Job. And of all of these accounts and people that were mentioned in all of these things in Chandler's life, Omar was real. He was a real person. He actually worked at the college. He was a low-level desk person at the college. And Bart had called there, and he had talked to Omar. And Omar testified at the trial. And they played a 17-minute recording of Omar and Bart. And Bart was pretending to be Chandler and asking him all these questions about, well, why can't I have my records? I haven't gotten my records. I haven't gotten, where's my certificates that I'm supposed to be getting? Where's all this stuff? And Omar's telling him, you don't have any of that because you didn't attend here. You weren't here long enough to get any of that stuff. You weren't here long enough to get those grades. And he tells him that none of those people, because Bart starts to ask him, well, what about so-and-so? Do they still work there? What about this person? What about that person? And Omar says, none of those people are here. None of those people work at this school. They're not anywhere in our list of employees. None of them. And Bart says to Omar, well, that'll be it then. And those words, that'll be it then, those are the last recorded words of Bart alive. Because shortly after that conversation, he sends a text message to Chaz and he says, I spoke with Omar Job. And on July 1st, no one can actually know what happens for sure. And the defense brings all of this up too, and they say, that the state wants to tell you exactly what happened and but they weren't there. And of course, the only two people who were there with him, they're dead. So nobody can really say for sure what happened. But the piecing of everything together by the phones and the times and cameras and everything else say that this is what happened. And that is that then the next 24 hours, starting July 1st, 2 of these people are now dead. At 3 p.m., Bart was supposed to have a meeting at Madison College with Chandler at the college, actually in-person meeting at the college. He had that written on his desk. Bart had it written on his calendar on his desk. that he's going to have a meeting with Chandler at the college at 3 p.m. And on that day, Chandler has woken up at 7:30, because we got to get up for work. And he starts texting Kat, his girlfriend, and he says, I hardly slept. Things aren't going well for me lately. He says, I had a future planned and now I'm fucked. He says, things are falling apart. And then he says, and I overheard they might be going to the cabin. Now that is at 1 p.m. that afternoon. He says to Kat, I hear that they might be going to the cabin. Here's where he starts to lay out his plan. Because at 2:10, Bart sends a text to Chandler and he says, I'm ready when you are. He's ready to go to this meeting. And that was about 50 minutes before he killed him. Those were the last words that were even seen by Bart. His phone does not get used. He doesn't go to work. The cameras in the neighborhood never picked up any movements by Bart. They had, then all the neighbors had like ring light rings and they had cameras and they had all those things. But the Haldersons did not have cameras outside their house. Hello, Linda. Glad you're here. Hi, Frozen. Hello, anybody else coming in? Hello to those of you that are watching. I appreciate you so very much for being here and lurking and watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody in the chat, my moderators. I love y'all so much. So glad you're here tonight. I hope you're having a great Friday. And you have to excuse my sniffing. It will get better. It's starting to get better. And I do apologize for all the sniffing. I can't help it. Can't help it. Now, evidence has shown that right around 3 o'clock, when Bart and Chandler were supposed to go to the meeting, that Bart gets shot in the back with a high-powered rifle. And at that point, Chandler texts his mom, Krista, and he says, Dad's phone died. Text or call me. And get soda on your way home. I have another extra hour of work. And Krista, she texts back and she says, "Okay, I can," with a smiley face. Because he wanted to delay her getting home. He has just shot Dad and he needs to delay. Delay, which if you can send her off to go on some tangent, then that helps. Somewhere around 5 p.m., a neighbor's camera shows Krista getting home, getting out of the car, walking into the house, and she's never seen again. Of course, they found her legs. Remember, I say they found that they found her legs off the side of the Wisconsin River, if you count being seen again. But as a whole person, she's never seen again. At around 5:11 on January 1st, evidence from Chandler's phone shows that he created a note. So you know how on your iPhone you can put notes on there? I use mine all the time. And he put a note on there to himself. A list. He's got a list. Some stuff he needs to get done, right? Weekend chores. H2O2 lemon. Door handles. Move your shit upstairs. Get a job. And clean the floor. What, now he's going to get a job? And H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide. Mixed with lemon, it's a household cleaner. Because he needs to clean some blood and stuff up, you know? And he does. He starts cleaning the house. Then he jumps in the shower and he FaceTimes with Kat while he's in the shower because she takes a screenshot. And it's really eerie. That screenshot was really eerie. It's a picture of Chandler, and he's got his arm on the shower and he's leaning against the shower like this, and the phone is back here and he's looking at her, and it's just creepy. You know he's washing blood off of him. Ugh, it's creepy. Chandler tells her that he's going to be going to bed, but he doesn't. He didn't go to bed. He goes to gas stations and buys ice because he's seen on cameras at 8:24 p.m. buying ice. Okay? And he's got a long night, you guys. This is still July 1st. He's got a long night. He uses different tools from around the house, axe and saw blades, and he used, clippers for the shrubs, loppers, all that kind of stuff, knives, all kinds of things, saw blades. Cuts up his parents. Now his plan was he's going to burn them in the fireplace. This is how he's going to get rid of them. So, as I said, there's cameras from all the neighbors and stuff, Well, there's this person who had a camera that was facing the back of the Halderson home. And in that camera, he has a video, and it is recording this light flickering directly at the back of the Halderson place, okay? And it's flickering, and it flickers on and off all night long. And he records that, and he testifies. And people around the neighborhood were saying, it's really weird. Somebody was burning a fireplace, and this is July. It's hot. Why would anybody even be burning a fireplace in July? Hello, Judy. So it's weird, right? And even one neighbor said that he thought it was odd because why would somebody be barbecuing at midnight? Because at midnight, he smells barbecue. He smells something that smells. This neighbor actually says it smelled like pig roast. So there's this video of this flickering, and an expert was brought in, and this expert was able to discern which windows this was coming from. And he determined that it was the window in the room with the fireplace. And that it was flickering on and off through the night. Okay. Now, at one point in this video, and I watched this trial, and I watched this. And at one point on this video, there's this flash where the fire really takes off. It's really getting good size fire, right? Well, I know this is going to sound really gross, you guys, but when fat catches fire, it really takes off, okay? And this is what had happened. And Chandler had thrown water on it. Well, when you do this, it's just like, if something's hot and you throw something cooler on it, it explodes. So it broke the glass out of the fireplace. And when investigators went through the house looking for evidence, here they saw on the floor in front of the fireplace, there was a floor fan facing the fireplace. There was a tape measure, because you got to make sure that it's the right size, that it'll fit in the fireplace. And, the glass is broken. There's bubbling at the top of this glass where the paint had bubbled off. All of the ashes had been cleaned out. and the logs had been rebuilt back into the fireplace. Clean logs. There was like unburnt paper stuck in there where you could just, light a match and start this fire. And there was this burnt piece, kind of black piece, kind of looked like a black burnt rock right in the middle. They had experts that examined all of this black rock. Forensic anthropologist. They brought in a fire examiner. They brought in an arson specialist. The forensic pathologist took a look at it and said, that's a human skull. Knew right away what it was. The ash and the debris from the fireplace were sifted out from the trap. So you know how a fireplace has got where you got this clean out, there's a trap. And there was an investigator that testified that he actually crawled into that place. It was down in the basement, and he had to go down in there and look for debris, for things that were actually in the fireplace. And they found more remains. They found facial bones. They found kneecaps, and they determined that had to have been Bart's because they had found Krista's legs. There's no DNA, there's no biological material, but the anthropologist testified that all of the things that they found were human. Okay. July 2nd, which is the Friday. After this night of, all this stuff that Chaz has been doing and no sleeping, he walks into the Fleet Farm, which is it's like a Tractor Supply kind of place, and he gets a tarp. It's at 7:21 a.m. on the 2nd, and he's seen buying a tarp. Now, Kat's supposed to spend the night on this night. This is Friday night, and it's Friday night, y'all. Kat's supposed to come over and spend the night. So he spends the day cleaning, all right? And he asks Kat to bring him some things. Now, this is where she became a very unwilling, unknowing accomplice. And that is because he asked her to bring him some hydrogen peroxide and a mop. They have these texts back and forth, And he tells her, well, he needs this mop and this hydrogen peroxide to clean up this blood because he had a cut. He had this little cut on his toe. And he had also told the police when they first were there that there might have been some blood there in front because that he had this fight, this not fight, but like a tussle with one of the dogs, because I had dogs, and that the dog, somehow there's something happened and this glass got broke in this tussle with this dog, and he cut his toe. So they might find blood because, he cut his toe. Because, he's got a story for everything. Hey, Darcia, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know. It's unbelievable. I know, Chels. I know. So Kat comes over, she brings him all these supplies and stuff, and they spend the night. And I remember when she testified, you guys, I felt so bad for her. She said that they slept down there in that main floor, and that Chaz had moved two big overstuffed chairs together and had thrown a whole bunch of sheets over them. And he said they were going, there was cozy. He wanted to be all cozy. and they slept together in this area. He kept her contained in the house. And he told investigators that it was still set up there when they came in. And he told them that it was there because it was close to the bathroom, and he had that problem where he could fall and stuff, so needed to be close to the bathroom. Yeah, the couch fort. He built a couch fort because it was fun. It was fun. And they asked Kat about, because she said she really cared deeply for his parents, that they got along so great and everything was so good, and she was really hurting bad to know that they were gone, and then to know that he had done that. It was just really, she was heartbroken, really heartbroken, and it screwed her up bad, and I really feel bad for her. And I feel bad for Mitchell. Who would have thought that his brother would do something like this? But Kat said, there was a lot of times when she would go over there and they'd make popcorn and they'd have ice cream, and she'd go downstairs to the basement because that's where they kept the ice cream, and she'd go down and get ice cream. Well, thank God she didn't go get ice cream that night. Thank God Kat's still here. Can you imagine if she had found something? She wouldn't be here. She leaves at about 7 a.m. in the morning on Saturday the 3rd. She sees Chandler's Snapchat location. This is after not very long, within an hour after she left is when she noticed, because he told her he was going to be at home cleaning. But she sees his Snapchat location and she takes a screenshot of it because she thought it was very strange that he was somewhere else, and it was where he was out dumping in the first location, dumping part of his mom's remains. Chandler had tried to go to the dump with all of this, and it was closed because it was 4th of July holiday. Then he spends that evening with Kat and friends, hanging out, having dinner. Then he tells Kat he's going to go home, go to bed that night. This guy's, we got a lot of trouble, so he has to go to bed early all the time. Tells her again he's going to go home, go to bed. But at 11 p.m., cell phone records record Chandler out by the river dropping off more remains in a different spot, a little farther down on the Wisconsin River. And then it's Sunday. It's July 4th. And Chandler sends himself that text from Krista. And then he goes out to the family farm with Kat's family, and he uses the pool. He eats dinner with everybody out there, asks permission to return alone to use the pool again. And of course, they're like, oh yeah, anytime, because people say that, they don't expect he's going to come back. He goes to see fireworks. And get this, he goes to see fireworks with a co-worker of Krista and a friend of hers. There's no mention anytime, nobody in their testimony says that he mentioned his parents at all through this whole day. Monday the 5th, he gets up, takes out the garbage. Who knows what was in the garbage that he took out? He goes back out to the farm, supposedly to use the pool. I talked about this in last week. You coming up, Bubby? Okay. There we go. There's always a shake when he lands. Good boy. That's a good boy. And he tells this, this family person of Kat's that he has had bad news, that he'd gone to his follow-up at the doctor, and that, that he'd gotten this really, really bad news, and it was going to screw up everything. It wasn't going to be able to do this job. It was going to screw up everything. And cell phone records prove there was no doctor's appointment that day. He was out on that farm hiding Bart, hiding those tools. There are pictures that are taken of that area, and they show drag marks across the grass. And that's where he was taking that tarp and dragging Bart out in there. July 6th, which is Tuesday, between 1 and 4 a.m., there are lights in the garage. And the lights in the garage are seen coming, going on and off, on and off, on and off, an average of 6 minutes at a time. At 4:30 in the morning, Chandler takes a drive around the city of Madison. They don't know what he's doing. He's just out driving, doing something. There's no telling, but that's what his phone record shows. He spends that evening, this is Tuesday, he spends that evening with Kat. Now Kat's starting to say, have you heard from Bart and Krista? Are they okay? What are they doing? It's really odd that they haven't, and other people have now started to say, have you heard from them? Are they doing all right? When are they coming home? Chandler drives back out to the farm, and he drops off a bag of bloody cleaning cloths. He puts them in the garbage can in the front of the farm, in the garbage can, right there. Those, they find them when they do the search of the farm, and they know that Chandler did this because this is a bag that came from Target that Kat had brought those cleaning supplies in. And they know that because on the outside of the bag, she did a curbside pickup, and it has her name on it. At about 11:22 on July 6th, it's 11:22 in the morning, Chaz tells Kat, he says, well, I'm going to go down to the police department. I'm going to go file a missing persons. On July 8th, which is a Wednesday, Chandler starts to do those Google searches looking for, the dead body thing. All this stuff is going on now. They're finding body part. All this stuff is going on. He goes door to door at the neighbors. He's asking them about the security cameras. By 4 p.m. on the 8th, now this is the day after he files the missing person, the police ask him to come down and make an official interview. And at 6:41 p.m., they arrest him. And that's what happened. And I cannot imagine there was some testimony that he might have taken some money out of the safe, that it might be because there was a safe somewhere, that there might have been there was like some blood found on the side of the safe. They weren't sure if that's where Bart was shot, but they feel like more than likely he was shot either there or going, or that he ran. Couldn't really pin down where he might have been shot, but they think it was in his office, and that the blood they found was from that. There was money missing, and it was about the amount of money that Chandler said that they had taken with them when they went out of town. Go see. You better go see. I'm going to take a quick break, you guys, and we're going to do the green toy because it's 8 o'clock. And I will be right back, and I will give you some updates on Lori Vallow and Stephen Smith, you guys. So stay with me. I'll be right back. Don't go away. You got it? Did you find it? Where is it? Where is it? Let's go. Okay. I'm back. But it's just, you guys, how does somebody get away with this many lies? And I think about Alec Murdaugh, okay? What a web of lies he was telling. Nobody really knew him. Nobody really knew what was going on with him. And we're right back to that again with Chandler. All of these lies and getting away with it. Yes, they were starting to figure it out. And he knew time was up. Time was up. Well, he shot his dad in the back. So obviously, I don't think his dad, he may have afterwards. I don't know. But I'm wondering if his dad actually did see him shoot him. I'm pretty sure he knew it was him when it happened. But the mom, I just can't imagine. I cannot imagine. I know. Just too lazy. He spent more energy doing that than getting a job. I mean, they probably would have been, if he would have at least done the whole McDonald's or something, Come on. Okay. All right, I'm going to switch gears now. And I'm just going to give you the tidbits that I have learned in the last week or so. Some of you may know more than what I know, and that is absolutely great. If you do, you're more than welcome to say so in the chat. The trials have been separated. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell Vallow. They were Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow Daybell, and Chad Daybell have been separated. That happened about 2 weeks ago. Her trial is supposed to start on April 3rd, and she will no longer be facing the death penalty. And I had to really work at understanding how this happened, okay? But basically, she did not waive her right to a speedy trial. And because of that, it needs to go forward. This trial needs to go forward now. And her lawyers say they would not have had enough time to review a huge amount of evidence that has now been submitted by the state. Now, that evidence came late. It was past a deadline that they were supposed to have met, and that was after the deadline, so they should have been sanctioned for having gotten this information in late. Now, because they didn't, the judge said that he felt like the best thing to do, instead of doing any kind of sanction or anything, the only thing he really could do was either dismiss it, which he didn't. It wasn't feel like there was enough to do that. There was way too much on the table to dismiss it. So he took the death penalty out. And that's how he solved the problem. Now, the charges are murder, grand theft, and conspiracy for both her and Chad. Chad still has death penalty on the table. So he is still he still has the chance of a death penalty. But yes, the state of Idaho is considering having the firing squad. And from what I understand, and I got this off of East Idaho News, it was Nate, and he was talking about this, and he said because they can't get the chemicals for the lethal injection. There's just no chemicals. So instead, they decided they might just put it on the books and maybe they can do firing squad instead. You're welcome, Sandy. You're welcome. So now we move on to Stephen Smith. Stephen Smith's case has now been listed by SLED as a homicide. Yes. And I found it interesting that SLED reached out to the family and their lawyer, Stephen Smith's family, his mom, sister, the whole family, and his lawyer, and they said when they had seen that they were doing a GoFundMe to have Stephen Smith exhumed, okay? And when SLED saw that, they reached out and they said, if you're waiting for us, you don't have to do that. If you're getting him exhumed because you want to get this, as a homicide and get it, investigated, we're already doing that. And I thought it was just tremendous that SLED reached out to them and told them that. They want it both. They want him exhumed and they want him examined and they want it to be a homicide, and they're going to get all of those things. They had a GoFundMe. They had set it for $10,000 and they hit over $70,000 in the GoFundMe. So he is now going to be exhumed and they will have an independent autopsy. And because they got $70,000, that means, this family has now got enough to help pay to find out what happened to Stephen. Now, Buster Murdaugh has issued a statement, and his statement is that, and these are his words, you guys, these baseless rumors of my involvement with Stephen and his death are false. I unequivocally deny any involvement in his death, and my heart goes out to the Smith family. That's Buster's statement. And there was something about, he was talking about he might do a defamation against the media, and I think that's just all talk. That's all. Matter of fact, you got it, Chels. Matter of fact, anybody that's leaving, Sandy, have a great night. Anybody else who's leaving, I'm almost done. Almost done. Now, you guys remember, SLED reopened this case in the investigation into Stephen's death in June of 2022. And they did that after new evidence was found during the investigation of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh. Now, it's really hard to know if there's a connection. It's really hard to know. I'm going to tell you what I think. It has me wondering if something came up when they did the phone dump of Paul and Alec and Buster's phones during the investigation. It has me wondering if this is either computer or phone dump. And Stephen's lawyer said that he's wondering the same thing. But I've been thinking ever since all of that came out, I went, during the trial, when I was watching the Murdaugh trial, I was like, they did a phone dump? Oh, I bet you that's it. But who knows? We just have to wait it out and see. But you guys, that's not over. The whole Murdoch thing is just not over at all. There's a lot more to come. There's a lot more that's going to happen. And I think we're just going to have to be, we'll have to keep an eye out and continue to hope for Stephen's mom and his family, his sister, everybody that, that there's some justice done. Because I will say it again, nobody deserved to die. Nobody deserved to die. No matter what they did, no matter who they were, nobody deserved to die. So, with that said, you guys, I will let you go. We are way over the hour. Serbs has got his green toy. Mr. Fiber filled it up for him. Does anybody have any questions? Did I miss anything while I was talking? I want to give you an opportunity. Please let me know if I missed anything. Hello and good night, Denny. Hello and good night to you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Karen. The next few weeks are going to be a little bit, I don't know what we're going to talk about for sure. I've got Chels coming with the boys. I'm going to try to do some things like I did tonight where I can get it all written out and get some notes on something, and I'll just tell you guys some sort of story. And then as the things come up with Lori Vallow in the next couple of months and any other cases that come up, we'll just have updates. We'll just do some updates on that. So that is the plan anyway. And I will talk to you guys on Sunday for Sippin' Sunday, for Sunday in the She Shed. Got lots of stuff going on. I need to show you guys, kind of what I've been doing. Hey, Judy, glad you came in. For those of you again that are watching on replay, I love y'all. Love my replay players. You guys are the best. Everyone take care. Love y'all. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. If I don't see you until next week, enjoy your weekend. Bye, everybody.